This week of Missouri Politics Midweek update. Very glad to be here. Got my standard knowledge all prepared. Um, very heck of a week. Get down here, starting off the F-150 campaign tour for the fall. Got to get to go see a lot of folks I don't always get to catch up with. The competitive race in the fall, and in primaries, I get to go to places where it's kind of normal for me, right? Get to go set and post up in rural Missouri. I could go to Newton County Watermelon Feed, good places like that. These general elections are in the suburbs, so a little different. They sell the skull, but they don't sell a long cut. You know what I mean? Anyhow, let's get right into it. I get messages from folks that beat around the bush too much at the beginning. So thank you all for your time. We're gonna let's start off right away. U.S. Senate race. I'm gonna tell you, I always like to start off with being real. I could bullshit you like a Post-Dispatch report. I'm totally unbiased. I got no opinions. Of course, I got my opinions, and I love it with you. My opinion is this: just start off. I think Eric Schmidt's a good man. I think he's going to be a fantastic U.S. Senator. I think Mrs. Bush is a very nice person, and I think the longer she was in politics, the more she would take to it, and she'd probably do a fine job. I have nothing bad to say about Mrs. Bush. I think she's in this for the absolute right reasons. I don't think she needs this. I think she's a fine person. And if you walked in and was voting for Eric Schmidt, like myself, I think people would respect it. That's no problem. If you would have voted for Trudy Bush Valentine, I totally respect that. I got nothing I could say that would tell you that that's a bad idea or a bad way to go about life. Now, that said, they have different views. They have different experiences. Let's walk through. Here's my take on. So Eric Schmidt's a very good politician. Very good politician. He is very good at his craft. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to do a message. Eric is very good. And when he first started politics in 2008, being very good meant you could sit and talk to the Post-Dispatch and the Star, and they're going to always be liberal biased while they tell you they're not. Not even like there's different types of Democrats anymore. You get your labor Democrat, they're like, well, of course they are, but there are guys. And then you get your woke folks, they're like, well, they're not even, I'm becoming that old man. I noticed the other day I saw a picture on the internet of a buddy of mine's kids, and I usually hate to see that stuff on Facebook. And I looked and liked it, and it's kind of neat. I figured I was getting old. Well, now I'm getting to the point where, like, there's certain Democrats I know very well and very much enjoy their friendship, and they're good friends of mine. And then there's a certain age where I'm like, ooh, y'all are out there. That's stuff we used to accuse the other Democrats of being when they weren't. Some of them folks are that now. But that said, my history is I'll just tell you what I think. I'll tell you the perspective I think it from. You can take it or not. I'll vote for Eric Schmidt. I think he's a good man. But if you tell me you voted for Miss Valentine, hey, I respect you. There you go. Fine choices either way. Missouri has had elections where you didn't have that great a choice, or you had one choice that was really bad. This time you got two folks. Be fine. I tell you which way I'm for, and I tell you I'm not ashamed of that. I'm happy about that. I'm happy. I think he's going to. Now, some of you who live your life looking for a tweet like whatever he said about Kanye West and are tickled to death and want to make a big fuss about it, you're not the people I'm talking about. But you're a Democrat that cares about the state, cares about state politics, who understands the Republican's going to do some things, but judges like a person that can come to the ability to respect word blunt. I think he's not going to be word blunt. Nobody is. No, I mean, you can't say that the next first baseman for the Cardinals is going to be able to pool. But I think he'll do a fine job. I think even a couple years in, you're going to look back and say, you know what? He is doing a good job. He's a serious guy. I would say that about everybody that serves in the federal government, but I think he would say that about Eric Schmidt. So he tweeted out something about how he wanted Kid Rock and Kanye West to go on tour. Now, I like Kid Rock. I don't personally follow the political views of Kanye West or Flavor Flav or Biggie or Tupac, or the only rapper that I actually do follow the political opinions of is Bruce Franks. And I'll tell you why. Because Bruce took time in his community. He won office. His community elected him to office. He served very well in the legislature. Now, again, you ain't going to agree with everything he did. I wouldn't expect you to. But I think he served admirably. He represented his community admirably. I have a lot of respect for Bruce Franks. And Bruce Franks, there's two people in my life. I was telling us having breakfast before this even came up. Two people in my life that have made me see the world very differently than from my perspective and when I was raised, and not raised, I won't call them parents, my life experiences, they befriended me. It's Jamil Nasheed and Bruce Franks. They poured into me love and friendship, and my heart was very open then when they gave me perspectives about other things. And I'm not going to say they radically changed my opinions about things, but there's many, many things I view differently, very differently. Some things that have changed my mind, but most of it is just my approach. I view things a lot differently because those two folks took time to pour into me friendship and love. And then when my heart was open to them, I was very willing to listen to their experiences that are different than mine, their perspectives different than mine, and change my views. Now, the one thing I'm not on is I'm not on this. Somebody sends a tweet and you cancel them and you throw a big fit. I just think that's so silly. And look, here's the thing. There's some corporate PR people that are sensitive to that. I get that. That's their job, is to have nothing bad. So if something's bad, they cut it off and cancel it. I get that. But regular folks don't live that way. Let me just help you out here. Not everybody lives in the Central West End or the Plaza. Most folks don't have Twitter accounts. If everybody that's logged into Twitter in the last 72 hours voted against Eric Schmidt, it would not change the outcome of this race. Not one damn ounce. Now, Facebook's a different story. There's a lot of regular folks on Facebook. That's just a fact. And let's be honest, who votes? Old people. Old people like Facebook. They just do. So he put out, I guess Kanye West said some anti-Semitic things. I didn't know that. I don't have a problem with any artist's opinions, really, because I don't care about their opinions, right? Garth Brooks may be a left-wing socialist, and I don't give a damn. I love the dance. I love Shameless. I do have friends in low places. Hell, to a lot of folks, I am their friend in low places. So I have no, I just don't care. I didn't care about the Dixie Chicks. I don't care about Alec Baldwin's views. I think Alec Baldwin's a hell of an actor, and I think he's great. I didn't think he looked great on Saturday Night Live because I thought it was like he kind of didn't lie. It was just, ugh. But I think he's great. I'm going to share about political views. So with Eric Schmidt, I'm going to tell you, I've been around Eric Schmidt a great deal. I've never seen him be hateful towards anybody. Never have. Never have. In fact, frankly, if you talk to his Senate colleagues, he's almost too damn nice to people. The Greitens folks were attacking him because he was nice to Maria. Maria, acquired taste, right? Not everybody could take her in stride. Eric always could. I just think that, the people he served with, you're not going to hear and know him. I think it's ridiculous to think. This is where it comes down. And I understand if some of y'all are out there and you're on Twitter and you're waiting for anything that you can use in a race you're behind in, I get you. I understand. Now, I'm not persuaded by such things, and I don't think anybody else is. But for you, you're paid or you're in the fight every day. I get it. Being a Democrat's hard. I remember when being a Republican in the state was hard. Barely. Not quite that up yet. But I do. And I'll tell you, hell, I've fought Republicans. I've even had Democrats chase me down while I was fighting Republicans. And I came through it. I got the hat. But seriously, I think because he said he likes I the song "Heartless." I think it's great, hilarious, love it. I have it. It's in my iPad thing where. But I'll just tell you, I think that's a stupid reason. If you don't want to vote for Eric Schmidt, fine. Again, I'm not going to say, oh my God, this is the most important race of all time. Oh my God, you're going to hate America. I don't think that. I think you choose one over the other. And if you're going to do that, that's fine. Because of a tweet about a singer, I think it's also equally stupid to think if somebody likes the song Heartless, they're anti-Semitic. That's just stupid. That's just dumb. That is just, and the campaigns are meant to be stupid and dumb. I get that. But that's just silly. And I think it's unpersuasive. I think it's a stupid reason not to vote for him. There's other reasons look, on abortion, if you're pro-life choice and that's your top issue, you should definitely not vote for Eric Schmidt. He's going to vote pro-life. The guy's ran pro-life his whole career. He's voted publicly representing his kids in pro-life. I'm willing to bet you he goes to the U.S. Senate to be pro-life. So there's a lot of good reasons not to vote for Eric Schmidt that are very justifiable. A tweet is stupid and silly. Number two, I'll give you a reason if you don't want to vote for Eric Schmidt, right? And it's more than just issues. There are certain issues Democrats are going to be more supportive of than Republicans. Sometimes those issues cross. When Eric Schmidt's career started, they did cross frequently. Now they pretty much don't. The Democrats quit competing for the most part in Missouri. And it's become, anytime you have a one-party rule, it sucks. It's terrible. The city of St. Louis would be better with more Republicans in office. St. Charles County would be better with more Democrats in office. Those are just, in my opinion, true things. The state of Missouri would be better off about 3 more Democrat senators and probably 25 more Democrat House members. You would see better public policies produced by that legislature, better Republican policies produced by that, better conservative policies produced by that legislature. One-party rules never, show me where it's ever worked. It just doesn't work. Maybe you can say Julius Caesar. That might be the only time. And I bet you everybody's happy with that. So, anyhow, that's a dumb reason. The guy's not a racist or whatever because he listens to Kanye West. I will tell you what Eric Schmidt is a fan of. Is 90s rap. Now, that is actually, that's documented for real. He does like 90s rap. You want a reason not to vote for him? Look, I told you before. I support him. I think he's a good man, actually. And not because of, look, has he tweeted a lot of dumb shit the last year? Yes, he has. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to lie to you. Since he started running for Senate, his Twitter account went from the guy I've known to a lot of dumb shit. Would I go to see Kanye West and Kid Rock? Probably not, but maybe, right? I mean, if it was like in Jeff City or they're in Butler County, maybe, but probably not. But I'm not that big a fan of either. I don't want to go see knockoff Skinner. I mean, Ronnie Van Zant's dead. Essentially, Kid Rock is just like a cover band for Ronnie Van Zant, right? I would go see Kid Rock cover Ronnie Van Zant songs with Leonard Skinner. Now, I will go see that. Kanye, I only know like one song, and I don't know anything about his politics. I know he married Kim Kardashian. That's really what I know about it. Heartless and Kim Kardashian. That's all I know. I don't really give a damn what he thinks because my opinions will not be shaped by a rapper. Just won't be, unless it's Bruce Franks. That's it. So I would encourage you also not to let your political views to be shaped by a rapper because that's really stupid. However, I'll give you a reason. If you're looking for a reason not to vote for Eric Schmidt and the issues ain't got you there, but you really want to be mad at him and you want to not vote for him, okay, I get you. I'll give you a reason. So I've been telling you about this issue because while I do support Eric, I don't have to agree with him all the time. I think Eric Schmidt knows he's tried to sue the School Board Association because here's the thing. You later in your term, and Mike Parsons probably got to start dealing with this. Everybody has. Some of the people that you started this with, and you can revise history how you want. They always do. Like I'm not the Josh Hawley isn't the person I'd knock you down and tell you your stuff about, right? However, I will say this on Eric Greitens, he had the biggest balls in this town. I mean, I don't know how the old boy walked up right. And everybody wants to say, "Oh, this is no." He had he had a spine of steel on that, and that's just a fact. So I guess what I'm saying is I do think Eric Schmidt do a good job in the Senate. I do think he's a good man. And then again, I'm not here to dog Trudy Bush, but just my point. I think I got her granddaddy here. Great granddaddy, I guess it is. Almost 9. The truth is, if you want to look for a reason not to vote for Eric, what I would pitch you to is, there's he's tried to sue the school boards. Just stupid. It's that. I think it's fine for politicians to rail on a group, right? Toughen up, right? That's the way it goes. Because if they get too far out, the world will turn back around on them, and it'll just be bad. What I don't think is when you use your actual government office to sue folks, and that's just maybe my daddy and me. You can say a bunch of stuff, and once I watched this show about this old gal who she was like a fake heiress, and she had all these New York people spending all this money on her. And she goes to jail finally. They go visit her, this reporter does. And then this lady goes, "Oh, did someone hurt your precious baby feelings?" And my Gussie picked up on that, and I'll repeat that. When somebody starts whining, he'll go, "Oh, did someone hurt your precious baby feelings?" Great. I laugh so hard. He get out of any trouble when he says that because I just can't stop laughing. And so look, if you get attacked by a politician, deal with it, push back. The world will either ignore it or turn on him, or maybe you should look at what you're doing, right? When you sue folks, they got to get in their wallet. That's the wallet of old boys swinging a hammer in Centerville today. That's the wallet of an old boy driving a truck through Odessa today. That's the old boy of a waitress waiting tables down at Gailey's in Springfield today. And I think that's pretty irresponsible on just puff bullshit. The lawsuit's bullshit. Then his staff, again, you're kind of getting to the point where not all of them are your A-listers, right? And so you get folks that, here's the thing, your experience kind of helps tell you what you're into, right? Now, you get an old boy that's worked at a think tank and for a pervert like Justin Smith, well, then he's probably going to do think tank bullshit and cavort with perverts. If you work for Eric Grimes, then you hire the Southeastern Legal Foundation to come in because, well, they're perverts, and you know that's what you know. And they come in, and I think Eric Schmidt did not know. It's like this. I don't think the kind of stupid. I don't think he knew these people were perverts that his staff was bringing around. But once he did know, he ain't just jumped to dissociate from them. I've never believed you could vote with foreigners against Missourians. Never. But I don't work at a think tank either. So you can just take, I mean, I sign the front of a paycheck, right? If you work at a think tank, you sign the back of it. It's a paycheck, and you probably don't really care about stuff like that. But anyhow, and again, no think tank would ever hire me because I'm not that big on thinking. But I do know how to chew the heck out of some skull. And I'll tell you this. I think it's the lawsuit goes on. Well, somehow, I don't know how I always do this. They let the perverts go first that they hired from East Coast. So the East Coast perverts fly in, and Chuck Hadfield shoves his boot way up their ass. And they get their whole case kicked out just right away. Well, the Attorney General's office has the same lawsuit. I have no idea why. It's just, I mean, honestly, Eric should pay a little more attention to that staff. That's just candidly what should happen. If Eric Schmidt had time to really sit and make these decisions, I don't think he would bring perverts in. I think once he figured out they're bringing in perverts to be around school kids, he'd have got rid of them. I think once he figured out, well, this lawsuit's good to drop, I'm going to drop mine too because of common sense. I think he would have. But running for Senate, it's a challenging thing. We talked about that last week. He would just say, hey, we spent enough of the state's money on this, on my office and on the school boards. We lost the case. You win some, you lose some. That's the way it goes. But instead, he's going to walk in there and make the judge do it. Now, that to me is something, if you want to criticize, that's weak. Tell that staff, they're his staff. Tell them to piss off, right? Tell them to grow up. Tell them this ain't a think tank. This is actually real. This isn't just some rich donor's money. And I know think tanks, whatever, man. If that's your thing, good for you. I'm sure that you all read all 1,000 pages of white paper of the report. I drink from the side of knowledge, and I think one of us probably is better informed. But that said, there's your reason. Should have told that staff to pipe down, right? Now, I mean, as I understand it, most of the folks seeking this job want to do nothing but distance themselves from this stuff. That staff, I'm sure that there's think tanks that would like to see people that do think tank law set the tank and think. But I don't know that the people that are lobbying to be attorney general are just real hip to keep the think tankers around. I don't know that I can tell you this. I've asked most of the people running. They want nothing to do with a bunch of glory hole perverts from the East Coast. I think if you file a sunshine request by February of next year, you'll find the new AG has nothing to do except no thank you perverts. We don't need any. We don't need any. Our glory hole department's full. We don't need any old East Coast boys coming in. I'm pretty sure there'll be no East Coast perverts in the new AG's office. Frankly, there shouldn't have been any in this office. But if you're wanting a reason to be sore ass at Eric, that's the reason. And God forbid if somebody's eye got poked out in Boone County when them perverts was running around. Good Lord. But anyhow, back to the real point is, this is silly. This is silly. The Kanye stuff's silly. And let me tell you why it won't matter, right? The thing I told you about how he should have dropped that lawsuit after he lost, he shouldn't even been in this in the first place. He should have been pointing out these problems, not going and spending your money both ways. Lincoln Up was right about that. So we're going to have to give the schools more money to defend against the lawsuit. So why don't we just give you less money and save everybody money? That's kind of the conservative way, but he was kind of right about that. Who would have thought? I guess blind hogs and acorns. Lincoln Up being right? But anyhow, as you look forward, pivot forward. If you want a real reason to have concerns, that's a real reason. No one's going to care about the Kanye thing. Again, take everybody that's logged into Twitter and that's 72 hours in Missouri. Let them vote against it. Won't move the needle 1 ounce. you'll probably have your folks that wring their hands and want to be offended every day. As you can tell, I was offended last in 1985, and it stuck with me. Now, that is true. I could get you, John Deal gave me a picture signed of Todd Worrell clearly having Orta out. It's up kind of out of range up there. But going forward, I think that the reason none of this will matter is people are going to make their minds up on things. It's why the pro-choice people were always so frustrated before, because they would show surveys showing that it was close, right? Even 50-50 or whatever. People supported some type of abortion rights. But the people that voted pro-life was their top issue, they voted 70-30, 80-20 maybe. And in swing districts, it was higher than that if they were abortion voters. No one's going to care about these little silly things. Eric Schmidt has put a record of now for 15 years in front of the public. They've been able to feel him out. And it's funny. I was telling somebody, I think he was the person most like Ward Blunt the state would have elected. And there's no coincidence. He started in Glendale City Hall. Roy started in the Greene County Courthouse. Local government is such a valuable thing, such a wonderful tool to have. They both started there in local government. There's another guy that started in local government. His name's Harry Truman at the Jackson County Courthouse. That local government gives you a pragmatism that usually serves very well. You actually get to see when the federal government gives you a grant and you're in Glendale, you can see what that goes to use. And I think that's a perspective that's very helpful. These would be tremendous. He's going to win, and no one's going to care about a rapper because regular people don't take their advice from rappers either. I can just help you out. No, regular people don't take their advice from Dixie Chicks or Kanye or Madonna or whoever. Regular people think that's just silly stuff that a handful of elites worry about. No one's going to care about losing this lawsuit to the School Board Association. I am going to rub it in when he does. And I'm probably going to ask how much money was spent on it because friends can be honest with their friends, right? But nobody's going to care about that. And I'm going to tell you why. When Donald Trump was in office, you could go get your wallet out, right? You get your wallet out and you get 2 20s and you can fill your truck up and you get folding money back, right? Now you have to swipe your debit card twice to fill your truck up. And I tell you what, this is the perfect example. If you want to know why Eric Schmidt's going to win this race and probably win it by double digits. You used to be able to fill your truck up with this much money and they'd hand you folding money back. Now you have to swipe your card not once, but twice to fill your truck up. And that's why Eric Schmidt's going to win by 10 points. Plus the fact that he has went out and proved himself for the people of Missouri. And I think I bet you by February, he's the most popular elected, maybe by November. But I bet you by February, he's the most popular elected official in the state. And I do think that, yes, has he tweeted some really dumb things this year? Of course. But I met Trudy Bush. I don't know how many of you all have. And some of the stuff I see on her Twitter, it doesn't sound like her either, to be honest with you. It sounds like a staffer who's wanting to be, provocative and stir. And let me just help you out with Twitter. Twitter, I'll just do another object lesson here. Twitter is 5% idiotic, kind of right-wing conservatives, right? Twitter is 45% left-wingers. Yeah, another 5 out here. It's exactly how much money you'd expect me to carry on me, right? Right, fellas? Twitter is 45% left-wing crazy folks, right? And then Twitter is 50% bots. So 45, there we go. And Twitter is 50% bots. So for those of you following along at home, Twitter is 5% right-wingers, right? Just right-wing people that Eric's trying to talk to there by saying a bunch of dumb things that appeal to dumb people. That's why you're a winger. Then it's 45% left-wingers that want dumb things told to them by people that are paying stupid folks. Then the rest of Twitter, the 50% of Twitter, is bots that those two wingers pay to make their views not look so damn stupid. And that's Twitter for you. Now, Facebook, different thing. My mom was on Facebook. A lot of good folks on there. But Twitter is a ridiculous sideshow of what anything close to real Missouri would be. I think Twitter is probably a good representation of the Central West End, the Plaza. Maybe if you go a little south of the Plaza and them nice houses down through there. But that's it. Maybe into Maplewood, Tower Grove, maybe Webster Groves. Even I even go as far as say possibly Webster Groves, where they had a city attorney once elected governor of Missouri, was Republican. But that's about where Twitter is. So if you see today people outraged on Twitter, I think Elon Musk was right. I think that I had some guy named like Carl McDowell tell me I wasn't a serious person. And I'm like, well, if Mike Kehoe said, hey, Scott, you're not being a very serious person today, I'd be like, oh, damn, that kind of cuts on. If Claire McCaskill said that or somebody I respect. But if Carl McDowell says, you're not being very serious, I'm like, you're writing under the name Carl McDowell. I mean, it's just not a real world. I have fun with it sometimes, but it's just not a real world. So anyhow, if you want a reason not to vote for Eric Schmidt, because he likes the song Heartless, is just not one of them. If you want a reason you want to ask some questions, why are you still pissing away money with some think tankers? I think that's a reasonable thing to ask. If you're at the end of the day, none of it's going to matter, because if you're possibly watching this, you know who you're voting for right on election day, that you're not an undecided. However, if you're looking at Twitter, that I'll leave you with, before I leave you with my last example. Bottom line, I give you a little old SEMO common sense. You want some SEMO common sense? Let me take a pull of my starting knowledge here before I tell you. Get the long cut. That's never a bad idea. Starting knowledges need a lid and some Anheuser-Busch tie. This is Miss Bruce Valentine's granddaddy. The Marriott, the Courtyard by Marriott, is the place to stay. I'm just going to tell you, if you want to be in the JV leagues, if you want to have like a Millerstein and get made fun of and suck, if you want to bring your family here, it's getting cold outside. You can't swim in the pool at the Capitol Plaza. It's too little. There's not even a pool at Doubletree. You got to go to the Courtyard by Marriott. It's where you want to go. You can take your family. You come in. You'll see some sights. You come in for an election day event. Wherever you come in for conference seasons is in full swing. Come in for the holidays, the beautiful holidays all around here. Go to Coal Camp. I'm going to tell you right now. I think every U.S. Senate candidate would agree. Coal Camp, old German community, Christmas all year round, but at Christmas, it's just another level of great. Go to Coal Camp. Tell them a fellow Hun sent you. They'll treat you right. Brett, the lunch spot there, it's a lunch boutique. You got some women buy dresses and what have you. Just outstanding. Just good folks at Coal Camp. Go down to Coal Camp. But when you do, you want to stay at the Courtyard by Marriott in Jeff City. I'll leave you with this. If you're watching this, you're probably politically inclined. So the next time you see outrage on Twitter, remember, 5% of it is right-wing outrage, right? 45% of it is left-wing outrage. 50% of it is fake bots and people that don't even have the guts to sign their name to what they write. And just keep that in mind. When you see 50 likes on something, in mind, if 50 people like something I say, I would think that's just 50 crazy folks. But in reality, it's probably 10 crazy people and 40 bots, right? So when Elon asked some questions, I think the guy was right. I think it's a lot of a scam. I don't think they do anything to try to keep you from just creating a billion accounts and just spamming people or making up the name Carl McDowell because you don't have the balls to put your name down what you write. Keep that in mind. One idiotic reason not to vote for Eric Schmidt. One, decent one. And then don't ever think Twitter's real. That's the real lesson for today. It's not a real place. It's a place of the number one thing you'll see is a place where PR consultants suck up to journalists, right? They lobby journalists, and that's how they kind of suck up to a man, like Twitter. That's why I never believe a consultant that ever likes or replies to something or retweets what I do. I get it. And I guess I'm just too Germanly cynical to buy into it. But that's what you see. Then you see self-promotion, which is what I do, obviously. And then you see, except about the Cardinals, which RIP. I'm just going to leave you with this. This is what I'm leaving you with, because I'm going to get emotional. If your job is with the St. Louis Cardinals, there's only 1 month that matters. You're like Santa Claus. You prepare all year round for that one brief time of the year, right? You all year. And nobody gives Santa Claus any credit for showing up to a mall in June, right? Nobody gives Santa Claus any credit for is the workshop humming along in July. If you want the credit for that, go work for the Pirates or the Royals or whoever. You get no credit for that. In St. Louis, you get credit for 1 month, and it's October. And if your job is to be the hitting coach, theoretically, you would coach the team to hit better, right? So if after several years of you being the hitting coach for the St. Louis Cardinals, where the only thing that matters in October, and they don't hit, at some point we have to say it's not working. And I know it's going to be tough for him. This is where Mozeliak is a real leader. If he fires Albert now, because he fired Schilt over Albert, right? There was something to do. It was in there somewhere. Can he step up and fire this guy? Because honestly, Jeff Albert, I don't know the guy. But honestly, if your job is with the Cardinals, if you want credit for having a good year, you take Paul Goldschmidt to Seattle, and they'll give you credit for all the runs you drive in August. And that is really great. And that's awesome. And everybody, that's all. That's a really good deal. If you want the Cardinals, you're only judged by October. That's your only metric. So if you are the hitting coach and they don't hit, which is your job, during the only month that matters, maybe we'd start talking about a new job, right? Maybe you'd be happier working for the Rangers. That'd be a fine club, right? Angels. Albert wouldn't work for the Angels for a while. How'd that work out? But seriously, I'm just saying, if you fail at your job, time to get a new job. If you're a think tanker that gets a job in government where you can use your think tanking skills to bully people and you lose, it's time for another job. And Eric is going to be the U.S. Senator because you used to pay this much for gas and got money back. Now you have to use 2 cars to fill your truck up. And that's why he's going to be the senator. And really, there's nothing I don't think Ms. Bush could do about it. Love you guys. See you Sunday on TV.